You know, it's really hard to be successful when you have low self-esteem. So in today's video, I'm going to show you 3 reasons why people have low self-esteem. And you can check out yourself and see, do I land in this? Show you today how to have really high self-esteem for yourself so that you can get major things accomplished. But I'm going to teach you why people have low self-esteem and how to avoid these pitfalls. So the number one reason, particularly here in America, that people have low self-esteem is because of racism. You say, what do you say, Brother Ricky? Yes, racism. Racism creates low self-esteem for people. And you say, why you say that, Brother Ricky? Because the person is doing the person that's oppressing people, they have low self-esteem. And the person that's being oppressed, they have low self-esteem too. You say, I don't get it, Ricky. I thought typically when somebody's being oppressed, they're the ones with the low self-esteem, not the both people have low self-esteem. When somebody's oppressing somebody and somebody's being oppressed, both of those people have low self-esteem. You say, why is that? Because success is it's impossible to be successful if you got low self-esteem. And let me explain success. Success is just real simple. It's loving God with all your heart, all your soul, all your mind, and then loving your neighbor the way you love yourself. That's success. Okay. Love God, yourself, and your neighbor. Love God, yourself, and your neighbor. Love God, yourself, and your neighbor. And you are an successful person based on biblical standards. So when I'm talking about what's successful, I'm talking about real life. I'm not talking about because you got a lot of money. You can have a lot of money and not, all right. You can be dead broke and not be. You being successful is not based on how much money you got. You being successful is based on, do you love God? Do you love yourself? And do you love people? If those 3 things are happening in my life and in your life, then we are amazingly successful people. Money will come if you just keep practicing principles. So my definition of success is, do you love God? Do you love yourself? And do you love people? Or do you love people the way you love yourself? So a person cannot have high self-esteem because oppressive people are very arrogant and oppressed people are very arrogant too. You say, what? That's right, because oppressed people, the way that they try to build themselves up is by taking away your self-esteem. And if you allow them to take away your self-esteem, then that means you have low self-esteem too. But you have to be arrogant in order to take away a person's self-esteem. And you have to be arrogant in order to give your self-esteem up. You say, why is that? Because you can't and love with low self-esteem. So you have to be an arrogant person to have low self-esteem. All right. So arrogance equals LS. A equals LS. Everybody put it in the chat and let's get started. I know you haven't been taught this way, but I'm going to teach you some things that you've never been taught in your life so that you can have some high self-esteem and get out here and kick butt and take names. All right. So A, arrogance equals low self-esteem. So write it down because you've never been taught this before. A equals LS. Let's go. A equals LS. Arrogance equals low self-esteem. If you're wondering why you're not moving and shaking and doing the things you're supposed to do, it's because of arrogance. You say, I'm not arrogant, Brother Ricky. I said, are you moving and shaking and doing the things you're supposed to be doing in life? You said, no, I'm not. I'm hesitating. I'm stuck like Chuck in a pickup truck. I'm apprehensive. I'm a little scary. I'm nervous. I don't like moving around. That's because you are arrogant. You said, no, Brother Ricky, I'm not arrogant. I'm a very humble person. You are not humble if you ain't taking care of God's business. That's ignoring God is arrogant. Are you listening to me? God said, love me with all your heart, all your soul, all your strength. Love yourself. Love your neighbor as yourself. That's the 3 commandments from God. If you're not doing that, then you're an arrogant person. That's why arrogant people don't have much success. Are you listening to me? You think you're humble, but if you was humble, you'd be majorly successful. Why? Because anytime you obey God, you are majorly successful because everything about God is major success. Are you hearing what I'm talking about? So racism is one of them is probably at the top of the list of why people have low self-esteem. But what the oppressor, the racist person doesn't understand is that they have low self-esteem too. Success is not based on how much money you got. Success is how much love you have for your neighbor, how much love God and how much love you have for your neighbor. That's success. because you can have $20 billion and die in rotten roast in hell, because arrogant people, oppressors, they have low self-esteem. You say, why is that? Because they don't count themselves worthy of eternal life. Hey, listen to me. They cancel their eternal life contract. Why? Because arrogant people are going to hell. What about? For oppressing folks going to rot in hell. So they what? They dumb, they slow, and they what? Arrogant, low self-esteem. You say, no, they don't, Brother Ricky. They got real high self-esteem. Arrogant people do not have high self-esteem. You just been misinformed. You associate the fact that somebody got, or the fact that somebody got some power. Hey, babe, how you doing? Love you, Doc. This is the way human beings associate success with money, and we associate success with people having material stuff. But that doesn't mean somebody's successful. You can be successful and have material stuff, but you having material stuff doesn't make you successful. What makes you successful in God's eyes is, do you love God with all your heart? Do you love your neighbor like you love yourself? And that's it. Because when you got high self-esteem, then that means that you got a high love for yourself. And that means you got a high love for your neighbor, because you got a high love for God. All right. So self-esteem equals high love. So everybody put HL in the chat. I'm gonna start it off, because the reason I talk to you all 5 or 6 times a week is because I have high love for you. My love for you is not low. My love is high, because I have a high love for you. So God gave me a high love for myself. So that gave me a high love for you. And why? That makes me amazingly successful as a, not the amount of money I have, but the amount of love that I have. Your little money don't mean nothing. You know what I'm talking about? Your little house don't mean nothing. Your little prestige don't mean nothing. It don't mean nothing in the big scheme of things. Are you listening to me? It's the way you treat people that defines whether or not you are successful or not. Not the material stuff that you got. Even though you should have some material stuff, you should have plenty. You should have mountains of paper, plenty of printed paper with pertinent presidents on it. Are you digging what I'm talking about? Ain't nothing wrong with that. That's perfectly right. It don't get no righter. But my point is this: that's not success. Success is, do you love God with all your heart? Do you love yourself? Because you can't love people unless you love yourself. You have to have high love. All right, everybody, put that in the chat. HSL, high self love. I'm gonna put it in there. I have very high, very high. I have very. God has blessed me to have very high self love. That's why I can love another person. You have to have love so that you can love people who don't love you back. Are you listening to me? It has to be so high until it's not predicated on being loved back. Are you listening to me? Your love has to be so high until it's not predicated on nobody else loving you back, because you can't have nobody controlling your love, or you're going to have low self-esteem. Are you listening to me? Because you're going to be an arrogant person if you can only love people based on them loving you back. you your self-esteem. Are you listening to me? That's why we have such low blood pressure and such high results in life, because it's not based on what another individual does. It's just based on the high self-love that we have, because we have such a high God love. High God love produces high self-love. Did you get what I said? You said, Brother Ricky, I just don't love myself the way that I ought to. I say, why don't you increase your love for God? If you increase your love for God, you'll be able to increase your love for yourself. You aiming at the wrong thing. You trying to love yourself without loving God. That ain't gonna happen. Why? You got the formula mixed up. So you're not gonna love yourself right, and you sure enough ain't gonna treat people right. Why? Because you don't have the power to. Are you listening to me? So that's the first thing about low self-esteem. It comes from racism. The reason that people are racist is because they don't love God. And because they don't love God, they don't love themselves. They think they love themselves because they position themselves to manipulate people, to intimidate people, and to take advantage of folk. And in most cases, it causes them to have a lot of money or material things. Spiritually bankrupt, gonna rot and roast in hell, and they're gonna wish when they woke up, what would it profit if a man gained the whole world and lose his soul? Or what would a man give in exchange? It talks about a cat that had a whole lot of stuff. He said, I'm building. He said, what am I going to do? I got so many bars. I got so much property. I got so much paper. I got so much cheddar. I got so much cheese. I don't even know what to do with all this. He said, I just go build me some. And then thou fool, tonight thy soul is required of thee. Stop acting like you ain't going to die. All right. Live, live realistically. Realistic living is the fact that you are not sort of gonna die. You're gonna die, brother. I'm talking about a physical death. You're gonna drop dead one day. You, me, and everything. This life is about legacy. This life is not about fronting and stunting and trying to be seen of people and trying to oppress people and manipulate folks and wring people dry and get the most that we could possibly get out of somebody. So that we can have more than what they have. That's not what this life is about. This life is about love. All right. Life is about a life of love. All right. Everybody put LOL in the chat. No, not laugh out loud. A life of love. Come on, chat. I'm gonna start it off. A life of love. If you have a life of love, you have very high self-esteem. Why? Because the best things that can happen to you in life is when you love somebody. That's the best use in life. It gives you the most real satisfaction. It gives you the most contentment. It gives you the best peace. You can really move and shake. Like they're going to talk about, like your days have extremely good meaning. Why? Because it's a life of love. If love ain't the motivation, then you might as well get back in the bed and just go back to sleep. Because a life of love is the only life that's a successful life. So the racist has low self-esteem, and the racists are oppressive. It's been going on since the beginning of time in America. It's been mostly white folks oppressing black folks in America, but a racism has been going on since the beginning of time. Way back in the Bible days, Moses married a black woman from Ethiopia, and his sister Miriam and his brother Aaron, they started talking slick. They say, "Man, why you married that Ethiopian?" Moses like, "Cause she's a brick house. She's mighty, mighty. I just letting it all hang out. Oh, she's a brick." So Moses like, "I married my woman because she a brick house." Moses like, "Why you meddling in my business, bro? I see a little racism going on around here from my own brother and my own sister. Me, because I'm married to this brick house. What the hell wrong with y'all? Why y'all all up in my Kool-Aid don't know the flavor? She's a brick house." He said, "Matter of fact, let me put on another cut. She's a bad mamma jamma. Oh, yeah, just as fine as she can be. Hey." Yeah, boy had all kind of hits on this playlist. Talking about his wife. His wife was fine as frog. Okay, you dig what I'm talking about? His own brother and his own racist sister. Hey, why you married an Ethiopian chick? He like, "Because you can balance the national budget on that behind, girl. That's why I married her." Are you hearing me? Because she fine. She finer than all the chicks around here. So Moses hating on me all your life. Moses like, "Look, I'm the pastor of the most rebellious church in the history of time. You Negroes ain't got good sense. Every y'all complaining and arguing about stuff. You mean to tell me I can't have a fine wife? I need some sense around here. When I get to the crib, I need to go someplace. Somebody need to tingle my toes, player. Somebody need to put me to sleep. I need some rest messing around with you folk. God want to kill y'all every time we go around a corner, every time we go around a bend. God want to kill all. And I got to pray to God to keep y'all alive all the time." Moses was the meekest man ever walked the face of the earth. And he had little brother, knucklehead sister who burning bread on his beautiful black wife because they just racist. I hear me. He had to check them marks and let them know we're not having that. Moses was the meekest man to ever walk the face of the earth. He constantly had to pray for folks who ain't had sense. One time Aaron tried to come in and ride roughshod and just take over the kingdom. They say, "You ain't the only player around here with no God talking through us too." God pimp slapped Miriam from cloud number 9 and turned her into a leopard. You know, God reached into all his fingers and pulled that baby powder out and pop, pimp slapped a mess. You hear me? Turned into a white leopard and put out the camp. And then Moses had to pray for her. Why? Because look, Moses loved God with all his heart, all his mind, and all his strength. And so he was able to his neighbor, even his own brother and sister, because he loved God so much, he was able to love his brother and his sister and idiots because neither one of them had good sense. So he had to pray for both of them. His brother and was meddling in his business, who talking crazy, disrespecting God. But Moses had so much love for his brother and his sister, able to pray to God for his brother and his sister because his love wasn't based on how his brother and his sister acted. His love was based on God. Are you listening to me? That's how you know how to pray for people that act a fool. You don't cut folks off that act a fool and act like you don't ever want to see 'em and they go to hell and all this. That's a self-righteous spirit. Hey, listen to me. How we behave. The way that we behave is that, listen, some folks around me ain't got good sense, but still, nevertheless, I'm going to pray for them. Why? Because very high self-esteem. Because you have very high self-esteem, it's not based on the way that they're treating you. It's based on you, on the reality of your life. So since your life is so great and so wonderful and so good, because you have very high self-esteem, because you love God and you love yourself, it doesn't matter how other people act, because you don't love yourself no less because somebody acting a fool. Are you hearing what I'm talking about? I'm talking to you today about 3 reasons why people have low self-esteem. I want to show you how to overcome those if you've fallen into these traps. The number one reason that people have low self-esteem is because of racism. It ain't nothing new. It's been going on since the beginning of time. People always try to take advantage of their skin or their class or their status and oppress somebody else. It ain't nothing new. The fact that if you're a black man or a black woman, listen to me today, and the fact that we've been here for over 400 years and being exploited and dogged and mistreated and all this sort of a thing is nothing new. It's been going on since the beginning of time. It ain't nothing that we ought to be happy and glad about, but it's something that we need to face, because a lot of you us as black folks that's listening on here, you have low self-esteem. But a lot of you white friends that's watching and talking to me right now, if you're a racist, you have low self-esteem too. Why? Because the oppressed self-esteem and the oppressed has low self-esteem. Why? Because the oppressor doesn't love God the way to she's supposed to. That's why they manipulate folks and dog people and put people in a trick bag and try to steal people money and try to set folks up and redline people and do all the stuff all the foolishness we had to put up with since we've been here in America. So, but that person has low self-esteem because if they love God and they love themselves, then they wouldn't be so arrogant. They wouldn't be trying to press somebody else down, because they wouldn't want anything the person had, because they realize that they forfeit their fortune with God when they accept the fortune of men. You forfeit your fortune with God, your fortune with God, when you accept the fortune of men. In other words, when you manipulate men and women to have an earthly fortune, then you forfeit your real fortune with God, even your earthly fortune, which would have been more money if you had not been oppressing the people, and a heavenly home on top of that, because you would have a whole lot more money if you included people instead of oppressing people, because God would bless you a whole lot more than the devil blessed you, because the devil blessed people just like God do. And just because people got money, they think they got it from God. I'm like, the devil blessed people too. But the devil got a kingdom too. It's 2 kingdoms here. All right. It's the kingdom of God and the kingdom of Satan. And Satan got a kingdom too. And just because you got some money don't mean you got it from God. If you didn't get it God's way, you didn't get the money from God. You got the money because the devil got a kingdom too. Talking about, and he blesses people too. He blessed too. Oh yes, oh yes. The devil got children too. You say, "What, Ricky? Everybody's a child of God." Everybody ain't no child of God. Where you get that crap from? I know you don't read the Bible, because when Jesus was talking to the Pharisees, he said, "What of your father, the devil, and his works do you do?" Hey, listen to me. He checked the Pharisees. He's like, "Y'all got low self-esteem because y'all are amazingly arrogant. Y'all try to oppress people. Y'all try to put people in the why? So that you can prosper, come up at the demise of another person, when God is like, you don't have to do that. You can love me with all your heart, with all your soul, and all your mind, and you can come up and be amazingly successful by helping people instead of hindering people, by pulling people up instead of people down." Are you digging what I'm saying? If you're digging what I'm saying, just put "I'm digging it" in the chat. Let me try to get TikTok back on here, because my phone went dead while they was trying to listen. Yep. Put on. Feels good, babe. And we just getting warmed up, babe. We just warm it up, babe. This my main man, babe. He stays here with 10 a million and Bob. He's a wonderful young man. One of my favorite friends. All right. So put "I'm digging it" in the chat if you're digging it. All right. We're trying to get TikTok on, because my phone went dead on them. We don't want to leave them out. All right. So let's help them out. Try to get them back up. All right. So that's number one. So racism, racism, it oppresses the oppressor and the oppressed. So we talked about the oppressor. It's pretty arrogant that an oppressor is pretty evident, I should say, that an oppressor is arrogant. That's pretty evident, all right? If that's evident, put PE in the chat. That's pretty evident. Is that pretty evident that an oppressor is arrogant? Is that pretty evident? Put PE in the chat. If that's pretty evident, come on, help, because I'm going to teach you something. All right, pretty evident, right? Some people that dog other people, run people down, use their skin color as some type of leverage. Evil, demonic devils. We all know that's pretty arrogant, right? I don't care if you're black and you think you're better than somebody that's white. I don't care if you're white and you think you're better than somebody that's black. Chinese, you better than us. What the hell? You got African people think they better than black folk. So I ain't just talking about black and white. I'm just talking about racism, period. All right. That's right. That's right. You got African people come to America and look at us like we dogs. You hear me? I'm like, Negro, you blacker than me. What the hell is going on? You know what I'm talking about? You look like you absent in night school. You got a nerve to be acting racist towards me. so, so racism come in all colors. I hear what I'm talking about. I ain't just talking about black and white. Period. I hear what I'm talking about. So let's try to get TikTok back on there. Yeah. So we know that the oppressor, we know that the
removing the U.S. as a world power.
So we know that the oppressor, we know they low down. The oppressor, we know that. All right. Hopefully his computer stay on, and we'll be able to help everybody on TikTok. I understand something. Good morning, Janine. How you doing, dear? So, and by the way, you all, our link, the thieves came on and broke our link and all this sort of thing for the Financial IQ Challenge. It may be back up working today, maybe, but we got a link that we made for you all in case you want to come. So if you want to put the word challenge in the chat, if you're on YouTube or if you're on Instagram, our challenge starts. It starts Monday. All right, it's going to be kicking off the second quarter, May here, working your way towards the end of the year. I think I got a check. I think I got a check at the crib waiting on me. I think I do. So I think I do. Shantae told me it's something from my trust sitting at the crib. If it is, it's a $5 million check. If it is, I don't know. I haven't been to the crib in a couple. So we'll see when I get back. If you're interested in coming to the challenge, just put challenge in the chat. And if you're on TikTok, just don't put challenge. Just inbox me the word challenge. But you can put it here, and a different link will come to you. But it's still us. You're talking to me right now, so you know it's legit. All right, directly to your inbox, or we just send it to you on YouTube. So it doesn't have our regular page, but you can pay for it, and we'll still let you into the challenge. Okay. All right. So if you just put the word challenge in, we'll be glad to have you. All right. So I just got through. We just got through talking about how the number one reason why I'm glad to have you. Glad to have you. Look forward to seeing you. So I'll tell you all about the number one reason why people have low self-esteem, in my opinion, is because of racism. We just got through talking about that. Not only is the person that's oppressed got low self-esteem, that accepts the oppression, I should say, because you don't have low self-esteem because you're oppressed. You have low self-esteem because you accept the oppression. Okay, you have to accept the oppression. ATO. Everybody put it in the chat. ATO. Low self-esteem is because people accept the oppression. You don't have low self-esteem merely because somebody tries to oppress you. You have it. The reason you have low self-esteem is because you accept the oppression. We know that the racist person, whether they're a black person being racist towards a white person, white racist towards a black person, a Chinese man being racist towards another Chinese man, what the heck? I thought all the Hispanic people was the same. I ain't know that the Mexican people was Puerto Ricans, and the Puerto Ricans was racist towards the Mexicans. I didn't even know that. I went to a party one day, and they was like, I went to a party downtown, and I was in Chicago back in my player days, so-called player days, mongering days, when I was out trying to catch a hoe. Right. So I was downtown in Chicago. I went into this club, and this club had all these Puerto Rican people in it. I ain't know the difference between Puerto Rican and Mexican. I ain't know. I ain't know. But all I know is this chicks I've ever seen in my life. I was like, man, these girls fine up in here. And I said, man, these Mexicans fine. So they said, man, ain't nobody in here Mexican. I said, why? They said, man, don't you say that. I said, don't say what? They said, don't you say Mexican, bro. I said, why I can't say Mexican? They say because these are Puerto Ricans. And you see how dark they are? They darker. And you see how they like, they got hair like they black, some of them do. And some of them was dark as me. I was like, that's Puerto Rican. He was like, yeah, they Puerto Ricans. I was like, oh, okay. I say, these girls sure a lot fine. Them girls didn't say nothing to me. Why? They ain't, I don't know how racist they are towards, but I know they won't have nothing to do with me. I couldn't shoot no game. You hear what I'm talking about? I was like, I better get up out of here. I might be in the middle of the Bloods and the Crips or something, get my head cracked. Because them chicks was fine. I had to take a couple more looks before we left. But I couldn't get a dance or nothing. Why? You got Hispanic people racist among one another. Racism is in every group, clear across, has been happening since the beginning of time. Ain't gonna never change. Why? Because human nature is what? People are arrogant. Are you listening to me? That's the nature of human beings. Human beings need to be redeemed. What? From our arrogant behavior. We have bad attitudes. We think we're better than one another. Without the blood of Jesus Christ to help us, we need help. Are you hearing me? We need help. Human beings need help. Are you listening to me? You need help, brother. You need help. I need help, brother. We all need some doggone help. Are you listening to me? Why? So we can stop stepping to one another like a bunch of savages and a bunch of barbarians and start treating each other right. So success to me, one more time, in my opinion of success, is that you love God with all your heart, love your neighbor the way you love yourself, and that eliminates all of this food arrogance, which causes self-esteem, which is the cause of low self-esteem, I should say, which is the cause of low self-esteem. And you have low self-esteem if you are an oppressor, just like you have low self-esteem if you allow the oppression. All right. So I had to back that thing up for a second so y'all can understand what I'm talking about, because people think because they got something, or they think they got over on somebody, or they think they manipulate somebody, or they think it's just like the thieves that come on here faking like they Rick the Wealth Coach, trying to steal y'all money and trying to block us out of our own website. I mean, these tricks ain't got no respect. So you say they have very low self-esteem. You say, Brother Ricky, they don't have very low self-esteem. They think real high of themselves. No, they don't. Person thought highly of yourself or had high self-esteem or a high sense of self-worth, a high sense of self-value, they wouldn't want to steal nothing from nobody. All right. Love you, babe. Enjoy the morning, brother. I sure appreciate you. So you don't want to take nothing from nobody else. What? When you got everything. Are you listening to me? When your self-esteem is high, you don't want nothing from nobody else because you already got everything. You don't need nothing. Why? Because you're just so happy because you woke up this morning and now your job this morning is to go and help increase everybody else's self-esteem around you, not to deplete theirs. Are you listening to me? I'm talking to you today about the 3 reasons why people have low self-esteem. And I want to help you make sure that you don't fall into this trap. And I want to help you get out of this trap if this is something that you is bothering you, because I see people every day with low self-esteem. And it bothers me to see people with low self-esteem because I want to see people reach their potential in life, or I should say increase their capability in their life by pulling their capability out of their potential. And I'm bothered every day and every day when I look at a person and I say, that's not you. Somebody has invaded your body and taken over you. That is not you. Are you hearing me? You are not representing the real you, because either you are oppressing people or either you are accepting the oppression. Either way, both people have very low self-esteem. All right. I don't have time to keep talking about the oppressed. I'm going to run out of time. So let's talk about the oppressed. All right. So the oppressed have low self-esteem too. You say, why is that? I'm talking about the racially oppressed. We're talking about racism now. All right. The racially oppressed have low self-esteem too. You say, why is that? Because the racially oppressed accepted the oppression. That's why if you allow racist people to make you feel like you're less than them, then you accept the oppression, and that's why you have low self-esteem. You don't the oppression, even though racist people do think they're better than you and are setting up traps for you every day and would like to see you and the next 25 generations busting and disgusted, shooting, killing, robbing, stabbing each other, and having a whole bunch of loathing, self-hatred for one another for your particular race, even though that's the idea of racism, and that's the point of racism, is to get you to hate each other and to fight each other and to shoot each other and to kill each other. We all know that. That's always been the best way to get people to act a fool, is to get them to turn on. You can never oppress a people who love each other. That's impossible. Why? Because people who love each other, love is stronger than death. And when people love each other, you cannot oppress them, because when they get together, God gets into it. And when God gets into it, he overthrows the oppressors all the time, all throughout history. Gotten together and loved each other. Whoever was oppressing them, God threw the oppressor out in every situation all throughout history. Are you listening to what I'm talking about? But the oppressed to do what? Love God with our heart, love God with our soul, and love God and love our neighbor the way we love ourselves. That'll keep us from having low self-esteem. Why? Because our self-esteem is not based in the person that act like they superior to us. We know they're crazy as hell. Well, I mean, I'm like, man, last time I checked, I was madly in love with me. It definitely got nothing to do with if you white, the fact that you got some pale skin or something. What? I'm gonna compare my skin to your skin, and I feel bad about myself because my skin is darker than your skin. I'm like extremely happy with my skin personally. Talking about, I mean, I love my complexion. I love my big ears. I love my long nose. I love my hair. You dig what I'm talking about? I love looking in the mirror. Sometimes it's hard for me to get out the mirror. I want to kiss me a little bit more. I'm madly in love with Brother Ricky. Why? Because I'm madly in love with God. And I'm like, God, the way you made me is cool with me. I don't need no surgery. I don't need nothing. You hear what I'm talking about? I don't need nobody to make me feel good about life. How about you? And if I was you and I was lily white, I feel the same way. I'd be in the camera saying, hey, Lord, I'm extremely grateful for this amazing white skin that you gave me. Praise your wonderful name. I wouldn't be I wouldn't be trying to be nobody else if I was you. I wouldn't let nobody oppress me and nobody make me feel like I'm a come up if I can be more like them. Hey, listen to me. If two of us in a room and we both just alike, then one of us ain't necessary. Are you hearing me? God made AIDS. He made all kind of nations of people. He made people black, white, brown, yellow. I just ain't seen no purple, no green folks yet. I got seen every other kind of shade. And everybody should be what? Everybody should be proud of who you are and grateful for who you are, but not arrogant. Are you listening to me? You are no better. I don't care who you are, black, white, yellow, whatever. You ain't no better than nobody else. But you ain't nobody better than you. Are you hearing what I'm talking about? Nobody better. Nobody better. Everybody put in the chat. Know that. Ain't nobody better than nobody else. Nobody. I don't care. Let nobody pump you up. Just because you've been oppressed don't make you think you're better than nobody else because you ain't either. It don't matter. It don't matter whether you're oppressor or the oppressed. If you think you're better than somebody else, you got low self-esteem. You say, Brother Ricky, what are you talking about? I got low self-esteem because I think I'm better. Yes, you do. Yes, you do, because you are arrogant. You think you're better than somebody else. If you think you're better than somebody else, that means that you got to step on somebody else in order for you to feel good, which means that you are a complete idiot. Are you listening to me? I'm talking to you. If you got, I'm talking to you. Yeah, you say, who you talking to, Ricky? You, if that's the way you behave, because you ain't no better than nobody else. I don't care who you are. So you don't let nobody oppress you, and you don't go up and you don't fold up under the oppression, because that's arrogance too. That is not, when a person tell you that they're better than you and you submit to that nonsense, that is not humility. That is not humility. It's an abomination, is what it is. Hey, listen to me. I said, when you submit to a person who thinks they're better than you, it is not human. It's an abomination. You hear what I'm talking about? You check folks when they think they're better than you, and you let them know because you have high self-esteem. You're not arrogant when you check people who think they're going to oppress you. You let them know, I'm not, hell no, I'm not putting up with that. You hear what I'm talking about? Why? Because I love God, I love myself, and I love you. In fact, I love you too much to let you get away with that. Are you hearing me? I was in the bank yesterday. This ain't got nothing to do with racism. I'm gonna get to this. Gonna be the third thing, but I just want you to understand this. Speaking up for yourself is required for you to have what? For you to have proper self-esteem. Speaking up for yourself. Are you listening to me? It's required. And if you don't speak up for yourself, you are arrogant. You say, excuse me, Ricky, I don't get it. Okay, I got to teach you what you don't know. Arrogance is when you don't love God, don't love you, and don't love your neighbor. That's what arrogance is. When somebody's trying to oppress you and you don't, then that means you don't love God, you don't love yourself, and you don't love them. Right? And that's arrogant. I say you say, I never heard that definition before. Well, hopefully this will help you today. Where you'll be power, walk with might, walk with strength, and have a clear sense of direction and how you're going to move in and out amongst people, because you realize that what? God don't what? Honor arrogant people's lives. That's why I'm suffering so much, because what? I'm walking around acting like I'm humble. When I'm not humble, I'm arrogant. I'm arrogant because I step on me. I let people walk all over me, especially with this racism nonsense. And I think that they ISIS, especially black folks. I think that white ice is colder than black ice. And that's some nonsense. This is ice. Right? It don't make no difference what ice ain't got no color. Are you hearing me? But we come from oppression of 400 years. And we got to just deal with the reality. People have been oppressing us, particularly white America, have been over 400 years. And they've used all sorts of tricks and manipulation to keep us oppressed. But the only reason that we oppress is because we volunteered for it. You say, what? No, I didn't, Brother Ricky. I didn't volunteer. Yes, you did volunteer for this oppression. Why? Because you ain't never got to be bound in your mind of what nobody to you. You said, Brother Ricky, I kinfolk and stuff. They beat them and whooped them. Our ancestors, they beat them and whipped them and hung them and raped them and robbed them and pillaged them and everything. You know, and say, listen, I'm talking about it in your mind, person is superior to me. Of course, I realize that our grandmothers and our grandfathers and our great grandfathers and stuff was raised and pillaged and learned how to move around so that we can still be alive in 2025. You think I don't respect that? You think I don't appreciate that? The fact that they were able to maneuver around and be able to survive long enough for us to be sitting here having this conversation today. You think I don't appreciate that? Of course I appreciate that. If you appreciate that, put AP in the chat, AT in the chat, I should say. I put it in there because I appreciate that. If you don't appreciate, you got to be something wrong with, especially if you're black. Now you ought to appreciate it if you're white, but if you're black, you should definitely appreciate that. I know I appreciate that. Anybody else appreciate that? Put AT in the chat. If you appreciate the fact that some people got their eyes scalded out the back of their head just because they were reading, do you appreciate that? The fact that somebody just got caught reading, and got beat to death. You got caught reading. I say, do you appreciate that? Do you appreciate the fact that somebody just got caught teaching somebody how to read and they castrated them? Do you appreciate that? Do you appreciate the fact that somebody else is just trying to help somebody do something and they took two horses and pulled the person apart by setting them on fire? You appreciate that? All the barbaric, savage things that was done to us by a crazy, savage, barbaric, racist people. Do you appreciate? That's the reality of our life here in America. So since that's the ain't nobody else come over here like that. Ain't nobody else come over here like that. Ain't nobody else come over here and get tortured the way we got tortured here. The crazy, super nutty, savage acting folk, and back in the day. You dig what I'm talking about? So those are all facts. I mean, it ain't like nobody making nothing up. Now, but because we love God, because we love ourselves, love people, we don't walk around with no whole bunch of revenge, not wanting to kill nobody. Walk around with a whole bunch of revenge, not wanting to get at nobody, because that's arrogant to want to get back at people for what they've done to you, because you got to love God, love yourself, and love your neighbor, yourself, which means that you don't put up with the nonsense that somebody the foolishness that people bring to you, because you love them too. Are you hearing me? Just like Dr. King, when he was marching and everything, he let everybody know that listen, we marching not just for us. He let the white folks know that we marching not just for us, but we marching for you too. He said, why? Because you all are being oppressed just like we are. But the reason that you think you are better than us is because you are shaking off the oppression that you're getting from the state, because the United States been raking white folks for the last 100 years, just like they've been raking us and taking their money and tricking them and stuff. Everybody, right? But racism, well, you think that you better than a black person. If you're white, it'll make you think you're better than a black person. So you don't even understand how you getting it with no Vaseline. Why? Because you feel good about the fact that this black person, or the word that white folks use, racist white folks use. So you ain't him, but you still oppressed, and you don't realize low self-esteem, because if you had high, and you would treat the brother right and the sister right, and realizing that that's going to raise you up, and that's what God loved. But when your self-esteem is low, then you take out your low self-esteem on the next person. That's why people oppress people, because their self-esteem is low. And when a person has low self-esteem, they got to take that out on somebody. Are you listening to me? That's why people dog other folk in the races in race as far as racism is concerned. So I didn't mean to spend 40 minutes talking about racism, but I'm a black man in America. So it seemed like in 20, the foolishness that we still got to deal with today is so absurd that you would still have to deal with the foolishness today based on all the oppression that we've had. You would think by now it'd be a whole lot of repentance, especially from white people, and especially the white folks in the state in the upper hierarchy. You would think it'd be a whole lot of repentance and of restitution, you would think, in this time, but that's not going to happen. So don't. So as you, as a black man, as a black woman, I'm gonna talk to you in a few minutes about money. But right now, just keep your self-esteem up and understand it's not based on how no white person think about you. If you're black, it's not based on how no black person think about you. If you're white, it's not based on how no Puerto Rican person think about you. If you're Mexican, it ain't based on how no Mexican person think about you. If you're Puerto Rican, it ain't based on how nobody feel about you. Don't give nobody that kind of power in your life. Well, what? Well, you allow them to oppress you and to make you actually feel like they are your superior, because nobody is your superior. Are you hearing me? You got one superior, and his name is God. He's the father of Abraham, the father of Isaac, and the father of Jacob, and his son name is Jesus. That's your superiors. Everybody else ain't nothing but your peers and your equals. Nobody is better than another human being on the face of the earth. No place. Get the theme up. Are you listening to me? Because it's arrogant to let somebody oppress you. I know you never heard that and thought about it that. But the reason that you are underachieving, if you allow people to oppress you, especially with this racism thing, and you think somebody you, then you cannot you positively, absolutely cannot rise to the person that you're supposed to be and make the contributions that you're supposed to make in life, because you don't think you worthy. Anybody who doesn't think they worthy is an arrogant person. You say, what, Ricky? I know you don't think that. I know you ain't been taught this way. People who don't think they worthy, arrogant people. Why? Because God said, listen, you took care of your business. You kept my word. So you worthy what? Of that, you worthy of being my heir. You worthy of all the blessings, everything in life and godliness. You are worthy of it. Are you hearing me? Brother, sister, listen to me. Brother, sister, listen to me. I'm talking about brothers and sisters. I'm talking to everybody. I'm not just talking to black people. I'm just teaching y'all some lessons here today. I'm talking to all my brothers and sisters. If you're a child of God, you're my brother and you're my sister. So I'm talking to all my brothers and my sisters. You are worthy. Are you listening to me? White brothers and sisters, you are worthy what? Of the blessings of God. Black brothers and sisters, you are worthy what? Of the blessings of God. Hispanic sisters, you are worthy what? Of the blessings of God. Mexican brothers, well, Hispanics are Mexicans. Well, anyway, the whole Hispanic group, you are worthy of the blessings of God. Asian brothers and sisters, you are worthy. It don't make no difference. That stuff don't mean you. God is the spirit, and the spirit inside of you is the spirit of God. It ain't no color. Are you hearing me? So raise up your self-esteem by not accepting oppression, because if you accept oppression, then you are arrogant, because you cannot do the will of God when you're arrogant, because you cannot love God, you cannot love yourself, and you cannot love your neighbor when you're arrogant. When you accept oppression, you really hate the oppressor. Are you listening to me? I said, when you accept oppression, you really hate the oppressor. You don't love the oppressor when you accept his oppression. You hate him. In the back of your mind, you would cut his neck off if you got a shot at him. So what you do is you check the oppressor. No hell to the no. What you talking about? Why? Because I love you. Are you hearing me? And I love you, and I'm not going to let you get away with your nonsense with me, because I'm not going to walk around with all this pent-up anger and all this pent-up frustration and really want to peel your head down to the white meat if I can get my hands on you, because that stuff has to go somewhere. Are you listening to me? When a person is messing with your self-esteem, you have revenge on your mind. You check a person and let them know, I'm not putting up with your foolishness, then you don't have revenge on your mind. All the cards on the table. Are you listening to me? When I was selling furniture, when I didn't have when I was selling furniture in Indianapolis, and when I first got a couple of little jobs, when I was, homeless and stuff, and didn't have no money or nothing like that, and was moving around, and people was nice, let me live in their houses and stuff like that, and so I'm a really good communicator, so I can really really communicate well with people, and if I'm doing any kind of job that's a quote unquote sales job, then I'm gonna help somebody make a lot of money. So I went to this guy's. Yeah, he was selling his furniture, and the furniture, it was kind of nice furniture. So I went in and I commended me. But you know, being a felon, people think they better than you when they think that they can just treat you any they want to because they figure you're desperate for a job and that they can just threaten and fire you if you don't kiss their butt and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, so I come to work and it's a white guy that owns the place and his son is extremely arrogant. I mean, extremely arrogant. He just say some of the dumbest stuff that you can possibly say to a human being. So he talked just kind of slick to everybody, but it's only one other black guy that works there. So the black guy that works there, he's a Uncle Tom, a house Negro type of person. I'm not that way. I say what I actually think to people, direct face how I feel about them, everybody I meet. I don't pull no punches with nobody and listen. I mean, traveling in between houses. Ain't got no money, but I had what? I had a lot of self-esteem. I've always had a lot of self-esteem. Devil out in the streets and wasn't doing right at fame. But after getting saved and loving God, I really learned how to have some self-esteem because I learned how to love my neighbor, even the person that acted a fool. So that means I'm gonna step to you and tell you to your face, right or wrong, based on the Bible, and don't care how you feel about it. Why? Because I love you too much to be curtailing my feelings on the inside and letting you abuse me. I'm not going to allow nobody to abuse me. If I was you, I wouldn't allow nobody to abuse you. I would tell a person how you feel about things. They can take it however they want to take it. Are you listening to what I'm talking about? The young fella was talking, excuse me. So the young fella, he was talking crazy one, said something to me. I said, hey, why? I say, ain't no pimps in here. I say, you sound like a pimp. I say, you better take that stuff back to Mayberry, Opie. I don't know who you think you're talking to. Now, you know he's shocked. He's shocked because he's an arrogant little white boy. He's spoiled to death. His daddy ain't taught him no manners. His father ain't taught him work ethic. He ain't letting him know that you're going to have to earn what you get around here, son. Watch how you talk to everybody. Be respectful to everybody, whether they black, whether they white. Sit with us. This is not no racist company. We don't play that. Be careful about what you say. Don't be condescending to the people that work here because we work with a great amount of here and we are professional here and we're kind here and we treat everybody around here like they got some sense. He ain't taught his son nothing. All right. So his son's just a little punk. Let's just call it what it is. So this little punk started talking slick to me. And I ain't got no money, and I'm moving around. I'm just learning their business. I'm about to really help them make a lot of money because clients are coming back and forth. I'm developing amazing rapport with the people that are walking in, and I know they're going to come back. I know they're going to buy a lot of furniture and stuff because I know how to treat a human being. Are you hearing me? And I know we're about to break them all. That Kit Kat bar. I'm about to help his company break some records. Are you listening? But I ain't around long enough because when I checked this bar, the next day they called me and they said, "Hey, Rick." I'm like, yeah, what's going on? Lay it on me, player, because I know they about to fire me. Why? Because I wasn't going to. They said, we won't be needing your services tomorrow. I'm like, yeah, that's what I thought. They said, well, because I said, you ain't got to explain it. I said, matter of fact, I don't even want to work there. All right, so you enjoy life, okay? I rode by it the other day, and I thought about it. I rode by a place the other day, and I bet you $1 to a dime, I make more money in a day than they make in a year. Are you listening to me? To a dime. I was dead broke when I was working there. Didn't have a pot to pee in or a house to. But what I wasn't about to trade in was I was trading in my self-esteem. I would have never went nowhere in life if I gave those people my self-esteem. Are y'all listening to me? Your self-esteem is not for sale. Your self-esteem is not for sale. There's not a price that a man or woman can pay you for your self-esteem. Don't sell your self-esteem. Everybody put DS in the chat. Don't sell. All right, just don't sell it. Pay the price that you got to pay. Get fired, get thrown out of places. You know what I'm talking about? Maybe, but don't sell your self-esteem, and especially when it comes down to racist, uh, white supremacy, or whatever supremacy it may be. In our case, if you're black, is white supremacy. So don't bow to that fool. Let them know that I'm a human being just like you. You will not talk to me like that. You will not like that. I'm not putting up with that. Why? Because I love God, I love me, and I love you. So God love me and I love you. I ain't got no problem telling you to your face, hell to the hell, 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 to the hell. No, you will not treat me like that. And when I rode by it the other day, I was on my way to the and it sure looked different let me tell y'all something. Whatever you're going through right now, it's going to be different. But if you love God, love your neighbor, love yourself, and love, it's going to get better. Are you hearing me? I promise you. I promise you. I promise you. It's going to get better. It's going to get better if you don't sell out. If you sell out, it ain't going to get better. It's going to get worse. Are you hearing me? If you put up with that stuff, if you let people oppress you, your self-esteem, you ain't going no further than your self-esteem. Your self-esteem is going to carry you to all the heights and depths of life that you were designed to have from the time before you was even born, before the foundation of the world. There are destinies for you in this life, but you're not going to ever reach them or see them if you sell out your self-esteem. Are you hearing me? So it took me 50 minutes just to talk about racism. Let's talk about number two. Number two are relatives. Number one reason why people got low self-esteem is because of racism. That's the the number two reason why people got low self-esteem is because of relatives. Some of you all, your relatives messed you up from the time you was little because they told you you wasn't gonna never be nothing. They told you you ain't nothing. I can just see some of y'all suffering right now. I hear some of y'all mamas saying some crazy stuff to y'all. Some of y'all daddies saying some crazy stuff to y'all. I can hear some of y'all brothers saying some crazy stuff to y'all. Some of y'all sisters saying some crazy stuff to you. I can see it. I can see it I can hear it. I can feel the pain of it. I can feel it. I can feel it. Let me tell you something. Hear me good. Hear me good, you mighty man of God. Hear me good. You cannot pick your relatives. Are you listening to me? You cannot pick your relatives. Control over the womb you came out of. You don't have no control over the seed that brought you to this earth. You ain't got no control over your siblings, your brothers and your sisters, your aunts and your uncles, your cousins and your nephews, and your relatives. You don't have no control over that. But you know what you do have control over? You got over whether or not allow them to reduce your self-esteem because you feel such a need to impress them. You have no need to impress. I need you to put NNTI in the chat. No need to impress. Just stop that behavior because why? It is your self-esteem. Are you listening to me? I'm gonna start it off. NNTI. NNTI. Need to impress. NNTI. No need to impress. I declare up under the power and the might and the authority of Jesus Christ of Nazareth. If you hear this, what I'm telling you this morning, it will change the trajectory of the kaleidoscope of your life. Some of you all have been running around trying to impress your relatives, and you're 35, 45, 55, 65, 75, 85 years old. Ain't gonna never happen. All it's gonna do is reduce your self-esteem. You're not gonna be able to function the way you were meant to function because you believe you owe these people nation of why you're doing what you're doing. You are a grown man and a grown woman now. You don't owe them an explanation about nothing. You don't owe your mother an explanation. You don't owe your father an explanation. You don't owe your sister an explanation. You don't owe your brother an explanation. You don't owe your aunt. You don't owe your uncle. You don't owe your grandmama. You don't owe your grandfather. Am I saying that you're not supposed to be accountable to people? Of course, I'm not saying that. You should be accountable to anybody that's accountable to. What I'm telling you is that you don't have no need to impress people. I hear what I'm talking about? Why? Because they got you doing crazy stuff. Your self-esteem is so low because until they approve, you're not going to bust a move. And what I'm telling you is that you need to love God, love your neighbor, and the way you love yourself. And when you love yourself, you're like, listen, you ain't up to speed with my type of ambition. Your ambition and my ambition, you ain't caught up to my ambition. So I love you the way I love. So that means that you're going to have to catch up to my ambition for us to be friendly and for us to socialize You're going to have to catch up to my ambition because I got the ambition of God. I love God. I love myself. And those two things right there create high ambition. Everybody put HB in the chat. You having high ambition is what makes you have high self-esteem. Hey, listen to me. The reason my self-esteem is so high is because I have high ambition. If my don't have high ambition, I don't mess with them. Hey, listen to me. That's high and bye. I love you. God bless you. How you doing today? Bye. God bless you. How you doing today? I love you. God bless you. How you doing today? Love you. God bless you. How you doing today? But I don't have long conversations with my relatives who don't have high ambition. Why? Because you have to love God and love yourself, and that gives you ambition. You hear what I'm talking about? High ambition because you love God and you love yourself. Are you listening to me? When you love God and you love yourself, then you're not trying to impress your relatives because a lot of y'all relatives have you bound and your self-esteem is low because you're trying to impress them. What did Jesus say? Jesus said, if the works that I did, Jesus Christ, the Son of the living God, he said, what's your bank account? If you want to learn about the bank accounts, the challenge starts Monday. Come to the challenge, challenge if you're on TikTok, and come to the challenge. Good morning, Mama. How you doing, baby? Phenomenal day. You got your new watch on, Mama? Which one you got on?
No, I got a regular watch.
But you still got the bling bling.
That's for son.
Love you, baby. I'm praying for the family. Hey, Mama, do this for me. Can you do this? For people at the camera, can you do this, please? Real quick. Can you take this with you? Can you donate that to the people? Just give it to them. Just tell them to be blessed over here.
Oh my goodness.
From you, not from me. That's your blessing.
Not from me, it's from you.
Right.
Okay, thank you. I will.
Love you, baby.
Love you too.
Everybody say hi, Mom, in the chat. That's Chan's mama. That's my best friend's mother. She's mom in the chat. All right. That's Chan's mother. That's my mother. That's my best friend's mother. So she's my mother too. You want to say hi, Mama?
Hi. I'm headed to a funeral trying to get there on time. One of my church members lost her sister.
God, you so sweet. So, that's what you're talking about. Love you, baby.
Okay, love you too, and thank you. And I'll tell Juliet that you gave it to me.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, dear. All right. Yeah, Chan is my best friend, and his mother is they treated my mother like Fort Knox Gold when we used to bring her to his mansion down here. And she's so nice, like humble as that they got a rich son. She got quarters in her house. Nah, she ain't got no room. She got quarters. But she is so assuming. You're talking about high self-esteem. She's got amazingly high self-esteem. She ain't got an arrogant bone in her body. Like, listen to me. Some people treated me so good. I got my mother. And I brought my mother back down here. They treated my mother good. They treated my all right, so the second thing is your relatives. So Jesus said, if I did the same work here, he said, if I did the same work in Sodom and Gomorrah that I'm doing right now, he's talking about his relatives, his family members, people he's around. He said they would have been repentant a long time. He said, but in a judgment day, when they raise up, they're going to raise up and they're going to generation. He said, why? He said, because my relatives and my homeboys and my folks and all these people around me, he said, a prophet is not without honor except in his own house and his own neighborhood. So you prophet, what I'm telling you, prophetess, what I'm telling you, prophet, what I'm telling you, prophetess, what I'm telling you, mighty man of God, you mighty queen of God, what I'm telling you, mighty man and woman of God, you are mighty. You just don't think you're mighty. Relatives that dogged you, and they don't look at you for who you are. They think you some little snotty nosed kid from down the street. They remember you the way they remember you. They look at you the way they look at you. That's why they hated Jesus so much. They said, ain't this the carpenter's son? Ain't this Mary's child? Who is this dude walking around talking the son of God? He ain't no son of God. He the son of Joseph. Joseph is his daddy. What kind of weed smoking? This brother got to be on some show enough Snoop Doggy Dogs straight out of Long Beach, straight off the coast, Colombian fire, show enough chronic. What is he talking about? He the son of God. This dude ain't no son of God. This dude is the son of a, they had a whole bunch of sons of Jesus, but you can believe they wouldn't call him the son of God. They was, you son of a this and you son of a that and you son of, they even told him that he was doing his miracle through Beelzebub. And Beelzebub is what? The chief of all the devil's imps. Beelzebub, the chief devil that caused all your grief and everybody's grief around and run around the streets. You know what I mean? They said, man, the way you healing folks is because of Beelzebub. So Jesus said, use some common sense. He said, if I was of the devil, if the devil was really my father, the way y'all claiming he is, he said, how? He said, a house divided against itself ain't gonna stand. Why would Satan be casting Satan out of people? Why would he be, why would he be storming his own party? You know what I'm talking about? Why would he be putting a monkey wrench in his own program? Jesus, like, just use some common sense, player. Even if you don't believe, he said the works I'm doing in the world, the works I'm doing is of the devil, because the devil don't do good works, he do bad works. He kill people. He don't make people come alive. He want to make a person blind. He don't want the person to be able to see. He want people to be miserable, not happy. That's what the devil do. So Jesus, like, why in the world would I be? How in the world could I possibly pull this stuff off if I was of the devil? He said, use some common. Okay. He said, even if you don't believe me, he said, if you don't believe what I'm telling you about, me and my father, he said, just believe me for the work's sake. But they wouldn't believe him. Why? Because they was his relatives. They his homies. They ain't got no respect for him. That's why in this online era, you should have extremely high self-esteem, because you can make money all over the world talking to never seen a day in your life. It's a new era. You don't have to be doing backyard barbecues with your little home friends and the folks you grew up with. People don't respect you. They do not respect you, and they ain't gonna never respect you. They don't respect Jesus Christ. So you need to read the Bible so that you're not so surprised and don't start developing low self-esteem, because you got these high expectations of people who got low self-esteem. All right. Low self-esteem equals low expectations. All right. Put it in the chat. Low S equals LE. All right. I'm gonna start it off. My expectation of people, low self-esteem is low expectations. I don't expect a lot of them. Low self-esteem equals expectations. All right. Put it in the chat. LS equals LE. Okay. Put it in the chat. Teach your children this. Teach them that person acting a fool over there is because they got low self-esteem. So what you do, you reduce your expectation of that person because they got low self. In other words, expect them to act a fool. All right. Why? That's your relatives. That's your folk. Stop trying to get their approval. Why? Because when you get the approval of a person with low self-esteem, then you just approved your own low self-esteem. Are you listening to me? I said, if you get the approval of a person with low self-esteem, you proved your low self-esteem. So you don't want the approval of a person with low self-esteem. Why? Because it's going to give you low self-esteem. Are you listening to what I'm talking about? Are you hearing me? If you're hearing me, put HM in the chat. Or just put HY in the chat. I'm hearing you, Brother Rick. Are you hearing me? Put HY in the chat if you're hearing me. Are you hearing me? Are you hearing me? Put HY in the chat. I'm hearing you, brother. Are you hearing me? Are you getting set free as we speak today? I said, are you getting set free as we speak today? Is your self-esteem rising? Do you understand 100% your responsibility, and you have the power to have nobody meddling in your self-esteem business? Are you listening? Stop being worried about what your relatives think about you. All right? Love your relatives, but love them from a distance. I love you, brother. The way you talk, the way you walk, the stuff you believe in, I don't agree with it. All right? So you be blessed and have a great day. Because all they're going to do is zoom in as soon as you start talking and get you distracted from your goals and your ambitions and the things that God gave you to do. Why? Because they don't have the same ambition that you have. So they don't have the same esteem that you have. And they're going to do what? Put a monkey wrench in your program because they know that their opinion is important to you. You have to do what? You got to drop their opinions to raise your self-esteem. Did you hear what I'm saying? Drop opinions, raise self-esteem. Drop opinions, raise up. It'll just raise by itself because you won't go to bed with your brother and your sister and your aunt and your uncle and your cousin and all them on your mind Yes, these people have high self-esteem. My mother helped create in Brother Ricky some very high self-esteem because my mother had very high self-esteem. So she helped create in me some extremely high self-esteem. My father, on the other hand, had very low self-esteem. So I didn't spend a whole lot of time talking to my father because the self-esteem was low. I love my father, but when we started talking and I started telling him about the ambitious things that we could do as men by the grace of God, my father, who was the preacher, all right, a preacher, had low self-esteem because he didn't believe the word he was preaching. Hey, listen to me. My own blood daddy. It don't get no deeper than that. I love my the day he died. Wasn't hateful or nothing like that to the day he died. Miss him like Saturday miss Sunday. But I couldn't, but we wasn't gonna be kicking it on basis because he had low self that transferred to me because he fought the word of God that he preached. He preached the Bible, but he fought it in terms of behaving like it. He said, Ricky, everybody is a habitual sinner. We all habitually, it's just the grace of God that forgives us. I said, that is not true. I said, how you know that? I said, because I'm not no habitual sinner. I said, I said, how you gonna testify about another man's life? I said, testify about your life. All right, because you ain't testifying about my life. Why? Because I love God, I love my neighbor the way I love me. So yes, I sin sometimes. Yes, I have to repent some. Yes, sometimes I get wrong sometimes, but it does not have dominion over me because I have self-esteem. People with low self-esteem think they just gotta do wrong. Choice. But that's because what? They haven't received the engrafted word of God, ate it up, chewed it, and decided that that's how they're gonna get down. My father, he knew some scriptures and stuff. I can't say he knew a whole lot of scriptures. I don't know. We didn't really get real deep with that. But he would argue the idea of maintaining. He would defend his low self-esteem because he's a very scary man. He was a very apprehensive man. He was like Barney on a Mayberry show. You know, like shadow. Are you hear what I'm talking about? Am I here to talk about my father? Am I here to cut my daddy up? No. Supposed to respect your elders and like Fort Knox Gold. And I loved him to the day that he died. I'm just teaching you all that that's how deep this thing is about self-esteem. You can't blame the way nobody in your family act on the way that you acted. Why? Because you don't need the approval of people with low self-esteem. If ain't nobody, not one single one of your relatives got high self-esteem that they can pass on to you, then don't pay no attention to none of your relatives. Are you hearing me? Because there's somebody around you. Are you listening to what I'm talking about? There's somebody around you, somebody around me that has the proper type of self-esteem. Associate with them because the spirits are transferable. Are you listening to me? You cannot hang out with depressed people and don't get depressed. The Bible say, be not deceived, for God is not mocked. Evil communications corrupt good manners. People esteem those are evil communications. Why? Because you cannot achieve high ambition with low self-esteem, and not having high ambition and high achievement in your life is evil because God is high. Are you hearing me? And God operates high. God is big. He operates big. God is not petty. He don't operate petty. God do everything big. God don't do nothing small. And God's expectation of us is to what? Have high ambition. Are you listening to me? So that we can do what? So that we can people. You were put here to help people. You were not put here to gloat. You were not put here to sulk. You were not put here to have pity parties. You was not put here to wallow in the mud. You were not put here to be stuck like Chuck in a pickup truck. You were put here what? To excel and not just to be productive, but to be reproductive. Are you hearing me? The first thing God told all of us was to do what? He said, be fruitful and multiply. That meant to do what? So how are we going to be reproductive with low self-esteem? Are you listening to me? It's not going to happen. So that's number two, your relatives. And let me finish this up. Let me wrap this up. All right. You ready to bounce, chair? All right. I'm going to wrap this up. All right. So here's the third thing. Rules. So number one, racism. That's why people got low self-esteem. Number two, relatives. And number three, rules. Rules are why people have low self-esteem. You're talking about, what are you talking about? You're talking about we shouldn't follow rules. No, I'm talking about you have man-made rules that were created to give you low self-esteem. All right. I'm just gonna give you one because I got it. I'm just gonna give you one in commerce. Why people don't make a lot of money in commerce is because know your client rule that the banks have. The banks have what something called know your client rule. All right. Know your client rule. The banks have. So the reason know your client rule is to lower your self-esteem. You say, what are you talking about, Ricky? Because anybody that's doing business with you, if they was honest, anybody doing business with you, if they were upright, anybody that's doing business with you, if they was on the one, it would always be trans. They would never be telling you that we can know everything about you, but you can't know nothing about us. No business, nobody can run a business like that and get a unless you got what? Low self-esteem. So what's the know your client rule? The bank, they tell you that you got to tell them everything about you, but they don't tell you nothing about them. Why? Because what? The way to create it, the know your client rule was meant to lower your self-esteem. So when you walk in, the bank is the head and you the tail. They the lender and you the borrower. They above and you beneath. Why? Because they have to lower your self-esteem for them to be able to pull off the things that they pull off with all these use of fucking laws that they pass to take your money that you give to them and exploit you, manipulate you, circulate a whole feed generations of people from 7, 8, 9, 10 generations to come. Why you can't hardly pay a bill, can't put cheese on a Whopper. Why? Because you have accepted the lowly position of what? Being the lender and not the borrower, being below and above, and what? Submitting yourself to their rules because you don't understand paperwork, how to file the right kind of paperwork, so that when you walk into a bank, you don't have to submit yourself to their rule. You give them information, but the information does not put you in a subservient position where they can use your money, circulate your money. You, I hear what I'm talking about? Because what? You know the bank, they say know your client rule. Well, you need to know the bank rules. I hear what I'm talking about? I said, know the bank rules. Know the rules. K, no, T, R. KTR, everybody put it in the chat. And I'm going to teach you one and before I go. Okay. So KTR, know their rules, or else you're going to have low esteem because the only person in here that's getting interviewed is you. All right, listen to me. When you're in a low self-esteem position, it's because of rules. People make to put you in your place. Are you listening to me? And know your client rule from the bank is that stuff sounds like it's just some legal stuff. It sounds like it ain't right. It's wicked as hell. Why? Because it means meddle in another person's business and use this little punk so-called know your client rule as the reason to rob people of their money that come into the bank, have a relationship with the person where you get the hell out of them, and you put it up under the rule, lower this person's what? Lower their self-esteem when they walk in here. Put these folk in check when they walk in here so that what? They won't ask us no, we'll ask them the questions. And when you got low self-esteem, you will let people question you who you won't question back. You say, what do you mean, Brother Ricky? So I went into a bank yesterday while I was here in Memphis to open up another trust because I trust up in every city, you know. I might have me 50 of them before the year is over with. All right. So I came down here to open up another trust. So I want to do business whatever I want to do. So I went in and I showed her my trust documents. And so she's looking at it. She said, well, we never really seen a trust like this because my trust is written where my self-esteem is extremely high. Why? Because I took the person that they created, the straw man that they created, which is the lowest self-esteem they have, the way that they created you as a fake person, you're talking about some low self-esteem. So person, and my trust became the secured party of that person. It's written on in point blank language. They not used to seeing like that in the average bank. Why? Because when you walk into the average bank, they make the little bust of trust that they gave you. a so-called living trust, a revocable trust. That little buster stuff ain't worth the paper it was written on, because it doesn't do anything for your self-esteem, because you still dead. You walked to the bank dead and you left dead. Are you listening to me? What kind of self-esteem you got if you dead? You ain't got no self-esteem if you ain't even alive. Are you hearing me? So when I went in and I was talking to the young lady, and I had seen her, I was eating at a restaurant downtown. I had seen her and somebody that manages their banks or something like that. So I don't placate people. Are you listening to me? I have very high self-esteem. So when I meet people, impressed. All right. Why? Because I have very high self-esteem. I know the law. So when you know the law, your self-esteem is real high because you are very educated. Educated, you have very high self-esteem. All right. Education equals self-esteem. Everybody put E equals SE. It's impossible for you to have high self-esteem when you are uneducated. Why? Do exactly what you told, when you told, how you told, and you ain't got no choice. Are you hearing what I'm talking about? So education, E equals self-esteem. All right, everybody put that in the chat. I'm gonna start it off too. E equals SE. E equals SE. Come on, you know that. All right. E equals SE. You need to understand that. All right. So so I'm talking to this young lady, and so she's looking at it. She's saying, okay. She says, so here's what I need. So I'm listening. I say, okay, go ahead. You say, I need you to bring in the rest of your trust. You don't. She said, no, I don't. I said, no, you don't. Why? She said, well, that's what they said we need to do. I said, well, that's what they said, but my trust is private. It's not your business. The bodice of my trust is not your business. Why? Because I know the law. I have very high self-esteem, and I don't have to have I'm not saying all this to her, but this is what I'm thinking. All right. When you have high self-esteem and you walk into a bank and you know that they owe you all the money every year that they owe it to you, when your trust is correct and that they have to give it to you, they got not the treasury has to give it to you, that they don't have a choice but to return back to you, because whatever the creditor puts into the debtor's system, the creditor is due. That's due back to the creditor every single year. So if you are a creditor, then you have high self-esteem. Why? After ain't nobody doing me no favors when they give us a check back. That's the law. It's the rules. Right. So if you don't know the rules, then the rules will give you low self-esteem. So when you walk in, I'm just telling all y'all, when y'all walk into the banks, your whole position, your whole temperament, your body language, everything is what? It's a revealing of your self-esteem or the lack thereof. All right. So because I have good self-esteem, high self-esteem, then wow, what time is? How long I've been talking on here? Hour and 18 minutes. Because I have high self-esteem, uh, I don't play that, and because and work is correct, the paperwork, it speaks of the rules that we are doing business by. All right. So everybody put OR in the chat. Our rules, not yours. We're not doing business based on your know your client rule. Nah, hell no. We ain't doing business. Know your client rule ain't nothing but some use of fucking game. What? You say, what's use of fraud, Ricky? That's the fake rule. That's the rules or the legalistic rules that get people to make it legal for people to rob you. I hear me take your property and act like it's theirs. Fuck me. I hear I'm talking about. By the way, who's ready for the? How about t-shirts still here? Hold on a second. Yeah, wait for those t-shirts. You got t-shirts? Can you bring me a t-shirt in? Are they in the car already? All right, that's all right. She ain't ready to go. You like, they got a car already, Rick. You better get up out of here. All right. So if y'all want a Usufruct t-shirt, y'all want to order one, just put Usufruct in the chat. All right. Y'all know how to spell it. Y'all saw my video on Usufruct t-shirts to sell. You know, they say, what the fuck? Yeah, we got t-shirts to sell. We printed out a bunch of t-shirts, flying in a circle, but we sell them. So if you want one, just put Usufruct in the chat. Just put it in there and we'll figure it out. We'll figure out how to get it to you. Just comment that, and then we'll send you a message like for like your mailing address, give you like a link or something that you can sign up. Just put it in the chat right now. It ain't nothing gonna come automatically. We're gonna have to manually do it. But just put it in the chat since you was watching this live. Just put Usufruct in the chat. And if you want one of those t-shirts. So so I'm in here talking to this lady, and she used to with me, right? Trying to, at least. She a nice lady. So she said, bring all of your trust in, and then she tried to give me some more rules that I wasn't gonna do, because you don't have to do it. All right. Because what she was telling me was illegal. What I was telling her was lawful. But she don't know it, because they tell you something illegal on a regular basis when you walk in, because know your client rule is illegal by itself. All right. The whole idea of that, because it's a rule, and it's a rule meant to lower your name, put your butt in check, and you come in and do what you told. That's what that fake rule is about. So so, so I told her no. I said that's what she said. She said, well, the Patriot Act is why you have to bring in your whole trust. So I told her, I said, that's absolutely positively not true. We got accounts all over the whole United States. You don't have to bring in your whole trust to do no business. If you was the right bank, we've been done with this in a half an hour. You just ain't the right bank. Okay? Gonna come when every bank is gonna bow down, because they're gonna see that we putting them all on blast. All right. That's gonna come. All right. That's gonna come. You can believe that. All right. But right now, if you roll the way that we roll, then you let people know that I know my rights. I got my paperwork already done. I don't need you to do nothing except open up a tax-free, irrevocable checking account. That's all I need you to do. I don't need you to do nothing else. All right. If anything else is required, you ain't the right bank. You used to frucking around. I ain't got time to be messing around with you. So I was nice to the lady, and she apologized to me and said, what you just got through saying is absolutely not true. Ain't no Patriarch Act that says you got to have every page of my trust to do business with me. You just made that up. All right. I said, and I know you made it up, because we got accounts all over the country already. So I know you just made that up. That is 100% not true. And she said, I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm like, yeah, you're talking to millionaires. Okay. Have some respect. And you're talking to educated men. All right. I didn't come in here arrogant. I'm not mad at you. You do business the way you want to do business with your bank. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'm not upset, anything like that. I just don't want you all telling people stuff that's 100% not true. All right. Don't make statements don't just making up stuff. Just gonna make up some stuff and say, just gonna make about the patriarch guy. She just made that up, but it wasn't true. I got to get out of here. I'm overdue. Chan's in the car. He like, come on, bro. And what? I don't want to get left. I love you all. Have a great day. If you still want to see us Monday for the challenge and learn how we get down, just put challenge in the chat. Write us down, but you'll get the link that really goes to the challenge. Hurry up and do that right now. Put challenge real quick before I hang up. Put challenge in the chat so you can get the correct link sent over to you. Because if y'all been trying to go to our site, the crooks, we closed the site down because the crooks steal our website. So we shut it down. So if you want to come, put challenge and you'll get the link that really works. Okay. All right. I love you all. Have a beautiful day. It's been a pleasing pleasure, as well as a privilege. Be blessed in the city. Be blessed in the field. I see Satan falling from heaven like light. Our amazing self-esteem going up. I'm really happy for you. You do things very shortly that you have not been able to do before, because you have been loosed and the chains have been taken off of you. And I'm extremely happy for you. I look forward to seeing amazing things out of you in the very near future. Be blessed in the city, in the field. And remember that stellar is as stellar does. Have an outstanding day. Have a God bless you.